Joining us now is Chirag Acharya, an analyst on our Sustainable Investment Stewardship team. Chirag, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Joe. It's always great to talk to you.
So I want to start on climate change. We're hearing more and more about it in the news, and with the next UN Climate Change Conference coming in November, it is sure to make even more headlines soon. So many viewers know that climate is an important topic to Wespath, and we have made a commitment to net zero by joining the UN Net Zero Asset Owner Alliance. Can you provide an update on our climate-related work?
Sure, Joe. I'll start by reiterating a very important belief of ours. Climate change is not only a risk to our planet, but also a financial risk to our pension participants and institutional clients. There are broad economic consequences due to physical risk of climate change, such as adverse climate-related impacts on land and infrastructure, and transition risk related to climate change, such as changes to government climate policies, technology, and consumer behavior.
So as climate change is economic risk, we assume that there's going to be a risk to our clients' assets and their portfolios. So what does climate change mean to an investor?
What this means to investors is that they are exposed to the cost of business disruptions and adaptation to climate change, which will impact asset valuations in investment portfolios. Therefore, we are committed to continuing to work with our colleagues in the Net Zero Asset Owner Alliance to achieve the goal of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. As an example, Jake Barnett, our director of the Sustainable Investment Stewardship team, co-wrote an op-ed in Responsible Investor on why asset owners like Wespath must demand bold climate action from our external asset managers. The op-ed explains the financial and societal risks of climate change and how, as asset owners, we must collaborate and partner with our asset managers on this topic.
So Chirag, why is it important to collaborate and partner with our asset managers? Why wouldn't we just go it alone?
You know, it's important because our asset managers choose the companies in our portfolios, and they conduct engagements with those companies, including voting on climate-related resolutions. They also lobby to influence the economic system. To learn even more about this topic, we encourage viewers to go on Responsible Investor's website and read the free op-ed titled, "Asset Owners Must Demand Bold Climate Action from Asset Managers."
So it makes sense to work with coalitions and our asset managers so we have a bigger voice and a bigger impact. So how else is Wespath trying to move the needle on climate change?
More thought leadership and using our position to influence action. For example, we spoke on multiple panels at Climate Week NYC, a major summit of climate leaders from the financial sector and beyond. This included a panel talking about the power of investors engaging companies on their alignment of climate commitments and lobbying activity. This is a topic our CIO, Dave Zellner, wrote an op-ed on last year, and it's one that we on the Sustainable Investment Stewardship team continue to prioritize.
So the Sustainable Investment Stewardship team is involved with the Investors for Opioids and Pharmaceutical Accountability, or IOPA. So opioids it's a topic that our clients are very concerned about, and many have seen local impacts. So can you provide an update on the work with this coalition?
We are collaborating with a group of our colleagues in the IOPA on opioids and COVID-19 related safety at various pharmaceutical companies. We have taken the lead role with Rite Aid, which is a drugstore chain, and had engagements with the company in the third quarter. We are also continuing our engagement from prior quarters with Cardinal Health. We met with the company on its recent opioid settlement, its compensation plan, and related proposals during this proxy season. We are now leading and collaborating with a group of our colleagues in the IOPA on creating an opioid disclosure report. This report will allow us to acquire information on opioid-related risks from pharmaceutical distributors, manufacturers, and retailers.
Oh, that's great. Well, we've talked a lot about climate, and we've also talked about an important social issue, but what about some of the engagements in other focus areas? So for example, during the quarter, do we have any engagements related to human rights?
We definitely have. We are leading an engagement with Bookings Holdings, an online travel company, on its human rights program. We led the engagement with a group of our peers and focused on the expansion of its human rights policies, the inclusion of the framework on conflict-affected areas globally, and the company's mitigation procedures. We are pleased to note that Bookings has provided detailed information that aligns with Wespath's values, and we will continue to engage with the company on this topic.
So, Shrug, I'd also like to briefly speak on the topic of the global COVID-19 pandemic response.
So, Joe, we are working on some COVID-19 related initiatives, and we support a fair and global response to the pandemic. That is why we are a signatory to Access to Medicine's Global Investor Statement on COVID-19, which calls for vaccine equity. In addition, the Connectional Table of the United Methodist Church has called on UMC agencies to support a broader church-wide initiative to strengthen the equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. I am pleased to say that we are pursuing additional strategies across our agency to support this effort.
So, Shrug, thanks for sitting down with us today and for the work that the Sustainable Investment Stewardship does every day.
Thank you, Joe.